Frankly, I love Pizza Tower. If you're listening to this, chances are you know enough about it, so I don't have to explain it to you what the game is all about. I've been following its peerless development from start to finish and know everything about it, including everything that's ever been cut during development, or at least I thought I knew everything until recent events. If you're an avid Pizza Tower fan like me, you should know that Torta Pizza had plans to make Noise, the third boss of the game, playable with his own campaign, but had to cut him last minute due to time constraints. It's widely known that Noise still exists in the game files in a largely complete form, but for some reason, no one has managed to hack him back into the game without experiencing constant crashes. Until now. By some miracle, I successfully managed to make Noise playable again, and what was my first thought after the initial euphoria wore out? I tried to fight the Noise as the Noise to see what happens. I haven't heard much about their plans for the boss replacement. Maybe they haven't got that far in development in the first place. So is it just going to be two Noises? Or maybe it's going to be that Mr. Orange guy they once mentioned in an interview. No, it wasn't Mr. Orange, or a second Noise, or even Peppino. I wish it was any of that. Right away, the boss gate, including the background face, had a similar enough design to Noises, but wildly different at the same time. Not only looked messy, but also sewn together and oddly organic, as if it was made of actual flesh. Its primary colors were blue, brown, and pink. My curiosity piqued. I proceeded into the boss fight. The boss name in the versus screen said Doise. The D in the name looked like it was plastered over the N. This so-called Doise looked exactly the same as Noise, but had dark skin and wore blue clothes with a pink cape, matching the boss gate. His boss portrait was also different from Noise's. He was giving Noise a side glance with a finger raised, and one of his eyes was pink while the other one was closed. I later found out during the boss fight his sounds were very low-pitched, a stark contrast to Noise's cartoony woes. At the start of the fight, Noise appeared confused and looked directly at the screen, pointing at Doise questioningly. And oh boy did I share a state of confusion. The fight wasn't all that different from Noise's own, but the bombs, those little noisy guys, were replaced by inanimate rocks, leaving Doise as the only live entity in the arena. Not for long, though. The weirdest parts were the music and the arena design. The music was very weird and freaky. Not even like fake Peppino's boss fight music that was comically scary. It was downright disturbing. I swear I could hear a baby crying. The closest I can compare the music to would be the boss theme from the US version of Sonic CD. This track used to give me nightmares as a child. I envy the Japanese and European kids who got a jolly and fun tune instead of whatever shit American devs thought it was appropriate for kids. Doise's arena had blue and pink colors in its palette, obviously, but the background was completely unlike Noise's. It was very dark, weird, and fleshy, like veins of some sort. And then when I reached the second phase, I should elaborate, there wasn't any special transition with a fight ball. It happened immediately, so it really caught me off guard. Oh god, the background. It brightened up to reveal what those veins truly were. Those were malformed, melting, unsettlingly realistic faces of Doise, intertwined together like a web, a hive mind. I had to pause the game to process what am I seeing. The sight almost made me vomit. In the end of the fight, Doise didn't get a machine gun like one would expect him to. Instead, a rock fell on Noise's head, stunning him, and Doise began to cheer. Not for long, though. Something very, very fast swept across the screen, carrying Doise away as he screamed in terror. I couldn't see the entity in detail because of how quickly it moved. Clearly wasn't Noisette, or Doisette? That's for sure. But I managed to take a screenshot just in time. What the fuck is that, I thought? The creature that took Doy's away looked like Peppino, but he wore a pink apron and hat, blue shirt, and orange-red pants. But what stood out the most were his black, empty eyes and his expression full of hatred. He looked a bit larger than Peppino and was floating above the ground. After I recovered from the shock, I tried to revisit the fight to see if there's anything else to be found, but to my surprise, Doy's was dead. Literally. All I saw was a rotting corpse. No music, just flies, buzzing. And once the secrets ended, it counted as a victory and I instantly got a P rank? It was so weird. I couldn't touch Pete Star for days after the incident. It was so untypical for it to get so disturbing all of a sudden. Not even anywhere close to Fake Peppino's levels could have done. What were they thinking? After looking in the game's files, I managed to discover some new stuff. The Peppino-like entity is named Peddito, and there's some unused code that has "Do not resurrect him" written all over it. I'm not an expert programmer, but to me it looks like a unique game over sequence or a cutscene involving Peddito. Another thing I discovered is that there's a way to revive the Doys. You have to taunt thrice in front of the boss gate. However, I cannot take the risk and fight him again to see if anything's different. I'm scared of digging any deeper than that. While I'm trying to remain rational, part of me genuinely believes Doy's and Peddito's existence was the reason the noise campaign was ultimately scrapped.